started with a ringing phone. A cracked, mud-stained phone lying face down on the frost-covered grass outside the North Hill dorms. At first, the campus security officer thought it was just another lost device, the kind students misplaced every weekend after late-night parties. But as he bent down to pick it up, the screen lit up. An incoming call flashed across the screen. "Mom!" And that was the exact moment the officer realized something was wrong. Because phones don't just end up in the dirt like that. Students don't leave them outside in the cold October mud. And daughters don't ignore midnight calls from their mother unless something terrible has already happened. That phone belonged to Lena Ward, 20 years old, psychology major, sophomore student who planned her days down to the hour. Sweet, organized, reliable to a fault, and exactly the kind of young woman who doesn't simply disappear into the night. For 5 long years, the mystery of what happened to Lena haunted the community. It was studied by students, debated in classrooms, whispered about at memorial walks, and reopened by detectives every anniversary. No leads, no suspects, no clear timeline, just a cold trail and a heartbroken family. Until one late-night social media post, one seemingly harmless sentence, shattered the silence and exposed the killer. To understand what happened to Lena, you need to understand who she was, and why her disappearance shook the campus like an earthquake. Lena grew up in a quiet Ohio suburb as the youngest of 3 sisters. Her family called her Sunbeam because she lit up rooms just by walking through the doorway. She was always smiling, genuinely smiling, and she had a habit of leaning her head slightly when someone spoke to her, as if every word they said mattered. She majored in psychology because she wanted to understand people. Not in a clinical sense, but because she wanted to help them. If a friend was struggling, Lena was the person who would show up at their door at 3 a.m. with tea and blankets. Her roommate, Taylor, once said, "You could hear her laugh before you saw her." She had that kind of presence. Lena worked part-time at the campus bookstore, volunteered every Thursday at a youth shelter, ran a support group for stressed freshmen, and still managed to maintain a 3.9 GPA. That's the kind of student she was, the kind of daughter she was, the kind of human being she was. And that's why her disappearance left so many people shattered. October 14th, 2016. A Friday. It was homecoming weekend, which meant the campus felt different. Loud, energized, buzzing with parties in nearly every off-campus house. Lena's plan was simple: dinner with a few friends, quiet movie, then a quick stop at a birthday party at the Brookside House, a popular rental that students frequently used for gatherings. Nothing about her day suggested danger. She finished her shift at the bookstore at 4:50 p.m., walked home with Taylor at 5:10 p.m., ate leftover pasta, changed into jeans, a sweater, and light makeup, texted her sisters the pictures of her outfit, left for the party at 10:53 p.m. Multiple witnesses saw her enter the house around 11:15 p.m. The music was loud. Neon lights were flashing. People danced in the living room. Students spilled out onto the porch. Others crowded into the kitchen for drinks. Lena didn't drink much, a few sips of a hard seltzer. She talked to classmates, laughed with a group from her stats class, took photos with friends. Everything seemed normal, nothing unusual, no signs of fear, no signs of danger, just a regular college night. But at 11:48 p.m., something happened, something subtle, something most people overlooked. Lena stepped onto the back porch for air, and that's where she spoke briefly to Evan Price, a boy she barely knew, a boy who would later become the center of everything. At 12:06 a.m., Lena sent her final message. Heading back. Be there at like 10. It was for her roommate, Taylor. Lena's dorm was a 12-minute walk from the party. The route was well lit and equipped with emergency call boxes every few hundred feet. Security patrolled the area often. But there was one stretch, one dark gap behind the old humanities building, where the cameras were out for maintenance. 9 days. That's how long they had been offline. And that's where Lena disappeared. She never came home. She never answered another message. And she never called her mother back. At 5:32 a.m., a campus security officer found a phone near the dorm entrance. It was cracked, mud-stained, still vibrating with incoming notifications. It didn't take long to identify it as Lena's, and at 7:14 a.m., Taylor reported her missing. Detectives swarmed the campus within hours. Students were questioned. Flyers were printed. Search teams were organized. But the case quickly spiraled into chaos. Too many conflicting stories. Too many partygoers who were intoxicated. Too many blind spots. It was a nightmare. Detectives interviewed everyone connected to Lena that night. Friends at the party. They all said the same thing. She was fine. She was happy. She wasn't drunk. She left alone. Students who walked near the path that night. Two said they heard footsteps behind them. One claimed she heard a muffled argument. Another reported seeing a hooded silhouette near the Humanities building. But nothing concrete. Campus staff. A janitor claimed he heard something like a metal thud around 12:20 a.m. A security guard reported unusual activity near construction fencing. But neither saw Lena. Professors and academic advisors. They confirmed she had no academic stress, no unusual behavior, no signs of mental health decline. Boyfriend? Lena didn't have one. But there were rumors that someone had a crush on her. That someone was Evan, the ex. A boy she once dated casually a year prior. He had an alibi. Checked out. Evan Price. A quiet, almost invisible business major. No record. No behavioral issues. No disciplinary history. He told detectives, "Yeah, I talked to her outside. Just small talk. That's all." His story checked out. A neighbor even reported seeing him arrive home early. So detectives crossed his name off the list. At least, for then. No body. No weapon. No witnesses. No CCTV. No forensic evidence. No signs of digital activity after 12:07 a.m. Everything pointed to a clean disappearance. Detectives revisited the case every October, but nothing new surfaced. Until 5 years later, on the 5th anniversary of Lena's disappearance, former classmates posted tributes, pictures, memories, hashtags, candle emojis. Then, at 11:32 p.m., one post stood out. It was from Evan Price. His message was short. "Hard to believe it's been 5 years. I still remember being the last person to talk to her. R.I.P. Lena." Detectives froze, because that detail, that he was the last person to speak to her, was never publicly released. Only the killer would know that. Students noticed too. The post went viral within hours. People began sending the police screenshot after screenshot. Dozens of tip-line messages poured in. He used to stare at her in the library. He sat near her even though they didn't share classes. I think he followed her once after the lab. He made comments about her, obsessively. It was enough for detectives to reopen the file. And this time, they didn't treat Evan like background noise. They treated him like the prime suspect. Investigators obtained Evan's digital records through a warrant. And the truth came out fast. Evan did not go straight home that night. Metadata from his phone revealed. He followed Lena for 7 minutes after she left the party. His GPS trail matched hers almost perfectly. Both signals disappeared in the same dead zone. But there was more. Deleted search history recovered from his cloud backup included how to get someone to talk to you, signs she likes you, does following someone count as stalking, how to calm someone down if they panic, and then, how long before someone dies from head injury. It was enough to bring Evan in for questioning. But the moment he entered the interrogation room, detectives saw something they had never seen before. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. When detectives confronted him with the digital evidence, Evan stopped breathing for a few seconds. Then he whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt her." He explained everything in trembling fragments. That he saw her at the party and thought it was a sign. That he left early so he could follow her home for her safety. She noticed him behind her and told him to stop. That she tried to walk faster, and he panicked. "I grabbed her arm," he said. "She screamed. She slipped. She fell." Lena hit her head on a concrete step. He said she became still. He thought she was dead. In a blind panic, he dragged her behind construction fencing, hid her under metal panels, and ran home. But he was wrong. The autopsy revealed Lena lived for almost an hour after the fall, long enough for help to save her. He never called for it. She died alone. And for 5 years, her remains stayed behind sealed-off fencing that was demolished and rebuilt after her disappearance. Her body undisturbed, hidden beneath the ruins of a campus building. When detectives removed the old construction panels Evan described, they found her exactly as he said. A skeleton curled beneath rusted metal beams, clothing fragments matching what she wore that night. Her necklace, her bracelet, her broken phone battery. Her student ID is buried in dirt, confirmed through dental records. Lena Ward had been found. Evan Price was charged with second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, failure to report a death, improper disposal of remains. He accepted a plea deal in exchange for a confession. He received 38 years in prison. He showed no emotion during sentencing. Lena's family did. Her mother cried as she held a framed picture of Lena. She didn't get to live her life, she said. He took 5 years of answers from us. The campus held a candlelight vigil beside the new humanities building, built on the site where Lena had been hidden. Students who weren't even enrolled when she disappeared attended. The professors stood silently. Detectives stayed in the back, hats down, hands folded. Her roommate Taylor spoke through tears. She was kind. She was so kind. And she should have been safe. Sometimes, justice doesn't arrive through DNA, or footprints, or forensics. Sometimes, justice arrives through something far simpler. A careless sentence, a slip of truth, a killer revealing themselves because they can't resist being part of the story. Lena's case reminds us that danger doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from someone who watches in silence. Someone who convinces themselves they are entitled to your attention. Someone who mistakes obsession for connection. Her story is a warning. Her memory is light. And her truth, finally revealed, became the post that solved the case. Thank you for watching Silent Evidence: True Crime Exposed. Remember to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another chilling true story.
The world is different, not the same. If